cool article, a thing about Deuce today. That guy was talking about this is the year that if he had a chance, that he was saying basically what I've been saying, that the worst thing that could have happened was for him to be drafted by McCarthy, because McCarthy never gave him a chance.
Right.
Um, we'll see. But then they interviewed Deuce and they said, watch how he lights up when they talk about the offensive line coach.
Lincoln
Oh,
And
Riley.
yeah.
and he goes and it was funny because you see him and they start bringing up his name and he's like, oh my gosh, he's the first one that believed in me. He's the one that brought me to Kansas State. And I'm like, okay, maybe we have a chance. I just need four other running backs to get hurt.
No, I mean, if there was ever a good sign for him, for the Cowboys to reach out and get this guy that's connected to him,
Yeah,
that's the best possible chance.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, there was another guy. He's on Bleacher Report. He does videos on there, but he was talking about Trayshawn Holden and how Holden could potentially beat out not just Brooks, but also Flournoy for that sixth receiver spot due to the fact that he obviously has more statistics than them. He's the same size as them, but the main factor is his college wide receiver coach. So when they're going on that last list of names, you're going to go with your guy, which I think is very similar to Deuce's situation with Lincoln Riley now, even though he's the O-line coach. He has a better shot because of that.
I
For
hope
sure.
so.
And I
Yeah.
think this is really a make or break year for Deuce. I mean, I think if he doesn't turn it on this year, there's a potential he could even get cut this year. Um, let
But
alone
the truth is for as little as he's touched the ball, he's done quite well. I mean, if they gave him the ball 10 times in one game, his statistics would be crazy different.
true, very true. But
Um,
well, we'll go ahead since we're already started. I was going to show you guys our DCT X page if you can see my screen.
what else looks good?
Nice.
We got a couple clippets from some of our podcasts on here, some fan votes. We've put in if Stephon Diggs gets cut, should Dallas sign him? Fans voted yes, surprisingly. A couple more videos. Um, a big no to Ramsey.
Wow.
We should get him. Fans were split on Nick Chubb. Um, so apparently it's a good thing he's with the Texans.
Right.
Um, we have a couple other ones. These are newer ones. We have this one. So no votes on that one yet. No votes on that one. We asked them, is Aaron Rodgers going to take the Steelers to the playoffs now? Heck no, they said. And we also asked, are the Cowboys contenders or pretenders? They say contenders. And that's it as of, one more. Is Kelvin Joseph a top five worst Dallas Cowboys draft picks of all time?
Everybody's
Obviously,
going, everybody's going, who's Calvin Joseph?
that should answer my question, obviously. And I think that's all of them for now. But
Very
we'll
cool.
jump back over here. Sadly, we don't have any pictures with today's questions, but you can read off of them today. As I imagine, we'll probably get through the top five and we'll see where we get. But probably the biggest news of this week, Rodgers to the Steelers. I mean, I think everyone kind of knew it was going to happen, but also didn't. I mean, it was expected but unexpected. Unless you're that Joyce lady on that ESPN show who apparently thought Aaron Rodgers was already on the Steelers. You guys saw that?
I didn't see that.
This lady, probably 1 or 2 weeks ago, Joyce something, she goes on this whole rant about how Aaron Rodgers is selfish for not showing up to training camp for the Steelers. And these two guys are sitting there like, uh, you're not on the team, right?
If he
Um,
wasn't there, he couldn't go there.
what a horrible moment for women in sports to
It
have
was.
her do that.
It was bad. Every comment was, well, this is why women shouldn't be in sports. Um,
I
but
agree.
obviously, we can talk about how I mean, reactions. And the main question to this is, like we asked fans, does this make the Steelers a contender team? Because obviously they weren't. I mean, this could make them. What are your thoughts? My immediate thoughts are, I honestly didn't expect Rodgers to sign. I kind of thought he would just kind of ride off into retirement for how long it took him. Um, does this make them contenders? Not in a Super Bowl run, but like usual, I think because of this addition, they'll of course, like the Steelers every year, will snake compete for a wild card spot. They're not competing with their division. Their division is way too stacked, but I do think this does put them in the race to make the playoffs.
Um, you know what? If the Steelers would have kept Pickens, um, I would think there's something there. I'd be a little nervous. I don't know there's number two is unless we trade Tolbert to him
Woo-hoo.
um, for a second round pick. Um, wouldn't that be
Good.
wouldn't that be hilarious if we did that? Or Minko for a third? It would be, I think that would be my dream scenario. But to answer the question, I don't think Aaron I think Aaron Rodgers is above average quarterback. I think he's lost some, but I don't think he's going to be able to win with that team. I don't think that team's very good, to be honest. So, so no. The answer's no.
Yeah, I thought that like when he went to the Jets, I for some reason I've always liked the Jets in a weird way in the sense of like when Parcells was there and he put their old school logo on there and I remember back in the days of Joe Namath and I thought it's just a cool place that he went to the Jets. And I thought that with all those receivers and they just seemed like they were loaded up to really do something and they never did. And so I think a lot of the reason was because of him. And I've always hated Rodgers because he's so good. I've always admired his talent. But I think that he's lost it, and I have no faith in the Steelers. I have none. I mean, did they even pick up a running back?
I
I
think they have
mean,
that Warren guy from what
Oh, they also
well, Warren
drafted
is not good. He's okay, but they got rid of who'd they get? Did they get anybody?
they
uh,
drafted Caleb Johnson
yeah.
to
And
Iowa
then
State.
they're screaming. I was when I was driving to church today, getting ready for church. I was listening to football. Um, they were that they were singing that Caleb Johnson's praise, like he was going to be so dominant, and I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Well, now that we know that Caleb Johnson is on that team now, I think they're going in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because he was my pick.
He was your guy.
No, no, he actually had a uniform in college that looked like the Steelers, so it's kind of ironic.
Mhm.
But no, to answer your question, no, no, no.
Yeah. I will add on this real quick. The only reason I think I agree with you guys, I think Rodgers has lost it. But in all fairness, That happens to any quarterback that goes to the Jets. So that's just a graveyard for quarterbacks. But so that's the only reason I'll give Rodgers a chance. Um, Move on to the next one. I mean, I don't know the guy, obviously. Tom Rafferty, I guess former center for the Dallas Cowboys, passed away at 70 a couple days ago. Um, I'm not even sure which decade he played in, but if you guys know anything, you can talk about it.
Yes, Peyton. David will know even more than me, but he was an amazing center. Um, all through the early '80s. I think he was there until what, '88, David? I think.
I don't
But
remember exactly when he ended.
but he was dominant. I thought he was great. Um, I think he was one of the best centers in the NFL at the time. Sad at 70. It makes me think of all those players in the '70s, with the Steelers, all the roids, and I tend to wonder if, because you saw all the Steelers players die at 50. So
Except for
uh,
Terry Bradshaw.
yeah, they didn't let him take any, I guess.
No, I mean he played 14 seasons,
Wow.
which is pretty amazing. Um, he was like a mainstay. He was like, through Danny White's era, and um, he was just one of those guys that those cool names. Tom Rafferty. He was just one of those names. I had football cards of him, and so during that era, and so nothing in particular other than they're famous for the stutter, they raise up and then go back down,
Victory
and
formation.
they're yep, and that's victory formation now, but that was what they used. Um,
They did it every time.
yeah, they did it every down. Back in the day, that was it. The victory stance is just to celebrate and honor them, but very cool. He was just one of those original guys that was fun to watch.
Awesome. Yeah. Too bad. Too bad for see someone pass away at that age.
Yeah.
Um, we'll move on to number three. We're gonna have a nice slide for you guys to see everything, but it's okay. What is our weakest position group? Not per se biggest need, but the overall weakest unit on our team. If people went down per all that per se. We can do an offense and a defense. You can obviously choose which one you think's more. Obviously I'll go first. Um, if we didn't have Joe Milton to be quarterback, no, I'm joking. I will say I'm in a mix between two. I will say for offense running back because I still worry about a clear-cut starter. I like I like Phil Maffa. Jaden Blue gives me weird vibes, but he's fast. Maffa, if he's is what he was in college, that's a good addition. Um, Overall, I think there's too much uncertainty. Is Javonte going to come back from his injury? Is Miles Sanders still even half the player he was? Is Deuce going to step up? Where's Lipke going to play? I mean, it's just everywhere. We have a good unit that has high potential, but there's way too many question marks on it. It can either be a very good room or the worst running back room in the league. So that's what I'm going to say is our weakest one on offense. Close second was honestly tight end, just because of the whole Ferg thing, and I don't love the depth per se under it. But anyways, running backs, I'm going with offense. Defense, I'm going to go with. I mean, you got to go D tackle. I know there's a lot of concerns about people say about our DBs and linebackers. I think we have a great DB room. I think we have a great linebacker room. Defensive ends were obviously stacked. Um, so even three tech, like I'm going to narrow it down even more to just one tech. I mean, our one tech room is just so weak. Maisie sucks. Toia's going to be a stud, but he's a rookie. It's way too weak for that position. So running back and one tech defensive tackle are my two.
Um, I can't disagree. That's who I would have taken. Uh, we need depth at defensive tackle desperately. We need a veteran to help these young guys develop. Uh, and I still believe Mays might be something. I don't know if he can be a one though. Unfortunately, so hopefully he turns out to be something. But I the whole time Peyton was talking, I was like, crap. Who would I pick? Who would be my second? You know, they. I will say, I think our safeties are really strong. It, we all know that injuries are going to come, and I was trying to go through in my head really quickly, what if someone went down? How bad would this team go? Um, and of course, you know, as much as we give Dak issues, if he goes down, the team's hosed. Um, but uh, but running back, I'm hoping for people to go down, so that it thins the herd. Uh, but I was trying to say, so I was reading articles and they kept on ripping on Dallas for their corners, who I love Dallas's corners, but when you looked at everybody hurt, um, it did worry me. So my first initial is D tackle and running back like Peyton, but I will say if I had to go somewhere else, I would say corner just because of health, and I would say quarterback because I just don't know where we would be if Dak goes down.
Well,
Okay, I think you guys have covered all of them. No, I think I was like both of you. I think we all went to running back, D tackle right off the cuff. My next shift was tight end. I'm obsessed with that position in the sense of Ferguson just didn't play well. I actually think he will play well. As much as we bash Schoonmaker, he is, I mean, he's like an okay guy. Obviously we're hoping that Brevin Spanford will take over. But I'm gonna jump over to offensive tackle.
mhm.
I think that we are like so stacked in the middle with center and guards, like we are like cement. But I am concerned about Steele um, and Tyler Guyton. I'm just concerned about depth there. They're saying that Austin Richards is trying to play swing tackle.
Mm.
So I would say offensive tackle is going to be my choice as a weak point. Um, Defensive tackle is the obvious defensive weakness, but I am going to go with I think yeah, safety is jacked up, linebacker is jacked up, defensive end jacked up, and so we don't only have two spots, and it's corner and D tackle. I was hoping that we'd pick up a D tackle at this June 1 piece, but I'm also concerned about corner as well because of the injuries. But once they're healthy, I think we're stacked at corner.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna stick with D tackle, like you
Yeah.
said. Yeah, D tackle.
Yeah. I like that tackle one too, because I mean, it's a good point you pointed out. I mean, I love Guyton, and I think Guyton's going to be amazing. But if Guyton goes down again, like he did last year, I mean, who do we have to come in at swing? Our boy Chuma Adoga's gone. Um, so And awesome Richards. I mean, I don't know. He's all right, I guess. But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it'd be nice to have some security there. Um, yeah. So we'll move on. Alrighty. Ooh, this is a question I like. Okay. If you could predict one of our rookies this year to win Rookie of the Year, defensive rookie, offensive rookie, whatever, you can even pick an offense and defense if you'd like. Who would it be? Um, and you can say what you think their top stat will be to keep it fun. Um, okay, let's see. I don't think Lyman can win Offensive Rookie of the Year, so I guess Booker's out. Which leaves me, obviously, I don't think we have any other weapons besides our running backs. I don't think they're going to be top. I have one player, and I think they could be a potential Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that is Donovan Ezeraku. Um, I think obviously, I don't think he's going to start necessarily. I think Dante is going to come in and do really well, but I think he's going to get a lot of snaps, and I think he's going to get, I'm going to say 6 to 7 sacks this year and win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. I do love that because unfortunately, anybody on defense, the only way you're winning it as defensive is on with sacks. So he would have to just be as a rookie get 10 sacks or something, right? Which would and being second string, everybody would be freaking out. So I love him. Um, but I am going to go with the T defensive tackle,
Ah.
and he's going to surprise everyone. He's going to be more mature beyond his years. Um, and then on offense, my prediction is that Dallas is going to get a bunch of sweet trades for Mingo and Tolbert, and we're getting two number twos, and they're going to trade them away, and Holden's going to make the team and make Rookie of the Year.
Or if we didn't trade our just newly traded wide receiver, but I'll take Tolbert though. You can trade him away for a washing machine and I'll be happy.
We're going to get a two.
2 washing machines?
All right. Well, my guy was rated as a top 15 pick, and once he is healthy, and the way that our corners always have something going on with them, whether it's our little China doll Trayvon Diggs or Duron Bland, or they're always nicked up. It's like we never have our two stud corners just sitting there. And so I think that's going to happen again. And I said, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his first name correctly, but Siobhan Ravel
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
is going to have 5 picks, and he is going to be our Rookie of the Year.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
I like that one. I'm surprised my dad didn't try to go with a lineman to win.
Did.
Imagine that if Tyler Booker somehow got an offensive rookie of the
Right.
year.
And Deuce Vaughn can't reapply for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, comeback of the year.
Oh man. I like it. So basically, so Holden doesn't count for my dad. So we have all defensive players basically. No one decided to go with maybe a running back.
Jaden
Yes.
Blue says he will be rookie of the year. I thought that was quite the spicy little prediction.
I've seen a lot of fans saying he needs to switch his number, and I couldn't agree more. Maybe that's what's throwing me off about him because something about him in 34 looks so disgusting. Um, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe my boy Phil Maffa is gonna come in and shake some heads.
Nice.
Alrighty, we'll jump to number 5. This one's been on the question board for a while, I think. Which year two player is going to make the biggest jump into their sophomore season?
Deuce.
To give a reminder, let's pull up. Here's our draft picks that are going into their second year. I think Spanford will also be on that list as an undrafted guy. And I'm trying to think. I think he is the only undrafted player, I believe, that made the team last year. So, but based off of these guys, they're all still with us. Um, yeah, just who do you think is going to make the biggest jump? Not necessarily like Pro Bowl or anything, but who's going to be maybe the best out of this class. Anyways, um, I really want to go with my boy Leafau, but I think he's going to be really good either way. I'm going to go with Guyton. I think Guyton is going to make the biggest step, and I think it's going to shock people how good he's going to be this year. Um, I think he's been putting in the work, the size. I think he wants it, and that's my pick. Guyton is going to make the biggest jump from his sophomore year.
I think we have to have Guyton make the biggest jump. I hope and pray. I have been fasting all day for that. But I'm going to say Cooper Beebe will. I just think with his coach that he's going to end his second year. I think he's just going to be. He was good. I think he's going to be Pro Bowl good.
Mm.
So we did kind of have this topic of who we think would step up for to be a Pro Bowler, but we weren't narrowing it to last year's draft. But I think last time I did say I'd go with Leafau,
Mhm.
but because Travis stole Cooper Beebe once again. But no, the guy that I am, when I was looking at this list, I was just going, man, I really did feel like we had a really great draft last year.
Oh
As
yeah.
much as I love our top three picks from this year, that we just hammered them. I think the first four picks here are super strong, and I think so. I'm going to go with to be different, but he is my guy. Is Nealand.
Mm.
People keep forgetting about him and his talent. If he had not gotten hurt, he was in the groove. He was doing his thing. He was making good plays. He's developed more of his pass rush, but he is kind of like a um, Demarcus Lawrence guy. I think he kind of replaces Demarcus Lawrence with his ability to play the run really well. I think he's going to pick up his pass rush, and with all of our guys flying in there, people just forget about this guy, and I think he is going to. I think he's going to keep rising. So I'm going with Nealon.
I like it. And I'll say this real quick before we switch discussions. I'm sticking with Guyton, obviously. And we all know Leafau. I think all of us can agree. We think Leafau is going to also step up. Two other guys, one that's on this list, that I think can also really shock people is Ryan Flournoy. I think because he came from a smaller school, That's why he dropped in the draft and all that. But I think he's a guy who not compete for, a starting spot yet, but can show a lot of development in the fact that I think he's going to jump even above Brooks. I think people kind of put Brooks above him, and I like Brooks, but I think Flournoy having that year under his belt now, feeling more comfortable, I think he's going to really turn some heads, especially in training camp. And then the only other guy I was going to mention is Spanford. I mean, I've been hearing so many good things about him. I know everyone says Shoemaker, Shoemaker, blah blah blah. I mean, and maybe it's because I just hate Shoemaker. I really believe that Spanford could come in and take that second string from him. I really believe that. Um, so I think he's someone who also to watch to make a huge step and even be a contributor.
Well, they said that Spanford's a better blocker right off the
Mhm.
cuff, and if he's even getting the equal amounts of time as Schoonmaker, and they run like a bootleg that Dak likes to run, and he hits the tight end, Brevin Spanford's just going to keep taking up his snaps.
Mhm.
So I agree.
Yeah. Um, we'll jump back over here. Unless you guys have anything else to say about second year players.
Nope.
Okay. Um, in that case, you know what? We got 3 minutes. We'll probably end it there. Just so we're not rushing anything because free agent signing that could be kind of long, I guess. So we'll end it there. We'll go ahead and just for a last fun question, um, who do you think could be the worst second year player out of this group? Um, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say mine's Ceylon Carson. I know he came in hot, but I think with all these new additions and things, I don't know. I think he's going to fall off, and we're just going to kind of see Mr. Seatbelt disappear. Um, so that's what I think is going to make the biggest drop in his year two season.
I'm gonna go with Nathan Thomas. I don't think he makes the team.
Yeah,
That'll be a big drop.
he barely made the team last year.
I don't want this to happen as Tyler Guyton, but so I'm gonna wash my mouth out so I get bad juju. So I'm gonna go with Justin Rogers.
The guy who got cut and somehow came back.
Right.
I was reading an article that he was, I think, one of the first players to get cut, who was a draft pick to get cut, um, in his first season, since who was it, Jordan Carroll and Joey Ivy. Do you remember those guys?
Yeah.
The guys that Marinelli sweared by were going to be our future at defensive tackle.
Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, I know I remember we had a lot of excitement about Rodgers back then, and the dude didn't even make the team. So
Yeah.
That was called hope, Peyton.
I think we're so desperate at D tackle is why. But one last hurrah is Kalen Carson on a positive note. He could be a guy everybody is not talking about him because he kind of dipped last year and then got hurt.
Mhm.
He could surprise us some good depth.
I mean, we would definitely need him to because it would bring. I don't think we need him to be a starter even. I think we just need him to come in and be a guy we can trust to fill in.
Right.
Um, but well, we'll end it there. That was fun.